right. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to Healing Numbers 22 live numerology reading. This is an hour where the five readers, will demonstrate that energy remains consistent regardless of the modality that we use. Now, morning, Dorothy.
Morning.
Hey.
So here our readers are David, who is an astronumerologist. Kraylin is our tarot card reader. Lorelei is our psychic medium. Dorothy is our astrologer. And I'm an intuitive numerologist. So it's important to me that I hold a safe and comfortable platform for everybody. We're all on our own journey, but we're all in it together. So please, no judgments on others. It's about kindness and respect. And I'm recording this, and it will be going on my YouTube channel and my website. So if that makes you uncomfortable, you can turn your camera off. If you have any questions, please just jump in. Raise your hand, put it in the comment field, and we'll make sure we get to it. And like I said, Suzanne, we love interaction. That's makes it more fun for us. So I want to welcome Suzanne. Welcome.
Thank you.
Suzanne's a writer and has written a couple of books. She's interested in about the publishing side of it. Feels like she has a writer's block. And also is interested in relationship, how the relationship is going. So let's start with our good friend David. He likes to start first. David's.
Are we gonna let Kraylin pull a card? Or?
Oh my God! Oh, thank you, David. Thank you.
Keep us on track, David. That's good.
Yes, I love it.
I'm good. Yep.
All right. Kraylin always pulls a card at the beginning of to get us started. And this is the card that she pulled.
This card is change. It's physical change. It's the Two of Discs. And the planet that is affecting this is Saturn. And as you can see, there's a snake, but it's making the infinity sign, where it's, change is constant all the time going on. It's also showing duality, in that you've got the yin and the yang in both circles in the middle. So to me, this is about the opportunity for change. It's what I call a stepping stone card. It can reflect a number of things, but generally speaking, it happens in a shorter period of time. So I would say, yeah, I don't like to put numbers on things, but this change probably will happen sooner than later, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's physical in nature. So that's the two.
That's interesting. That's your birthday.
Kraylin, can I tell you that I have had all kinds of snakes around me lately? I've been dreaming about snakes, not seeing physical snakes, but seeing snake, imagery, icons. Yeah. And it was all about protecting the snakes, like keeping them safe, when I am don't like snakes at all.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm so with you.
I'll go pick them up if I can.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A friend of mine that's a writer was telling me that snakes really symbolize creativity and protecting one's creativity, as well as all the metamorphosis of snakes and such.
Transition. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They got to shed their skin, don't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Transformation.
As they grow. Yeah.
Yeah.
They grow.
Yeah.
So,
all right, David.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping me straight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
Very interesting. So what I do is I look at both the numerology and I look at the astrology, and I kind of get, and what's very interesting about the two, with two different data sources, if you will, how much they really confirm and also support one another. So it's always nice to have that, so you can kind of get a sense of, with two different modalities, you really can get a sense of a really much clearer type of message. In your particular case, in numerology, do you know much about numerology? Or
I know a little bit about numerology.
a little bit. Okay. Well, so what I do with that is I look at what I view as your core numbers, and that is represented, and I'll go into a little bit of what those are, the life path, the expression, and your heart's desire, and your birthday. So those represent really who you are and what you're about. Okay. And for good or for bad, or however you want to look at it, and which is not, I don't see this too much, but your life path, your expression, your heart's desire are a 15-6. So, and we'll get into what that means, but in generally speaking, the volume's on high for you in this particular area. So when we look at your life path, the life path is the major lessons you learn in this lifetime, the central focus basically of your existence. And this will come through. The expression is your natural abilities in this particular area. And of course, your heart's desire is what you're looking for. Well, it looks like they're all the same in a lot of respects. 15-6.
Did you say that's not common for them all to be the same number?
No, I mean, we've seen it. I think we've all seen it at a time, but basically it's a massive, that's huge for you, this life path, the 15-6. So normally I see different numbers, to be honest with you. And no situation is better than any other. It just means it's incredibly emphasized in your life. So that's really what it's about. So the 15-6, in a nutshell, and just to get it, it's really what you're here to do is truly be helpful to others as a counselor, as a helper. And really what this is about is also you finding your balance in this. So you're a great healer, a great counselor. You're full of love. All your numbers in your astrology have a lot of emotion to them. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. This is not a bad thing. The other thing about the 15-6, though, is it is a bit of a balancing act. So you have to know when to leave people to do their own thing, right? That's okay. So, and this is part of our path. Now, there are no mistakes. I've said this before. We're all on a particular path. We're not here to get our million and put our feet up. It's just life really isn't about that. You're here to learn lessons and ascend, as we all are. And it's funny that you're coming to us at this time, because it is kind of a critical and a very, transitional time for you. So Kralen's part really makes a lot of sense. So when we're looking at the life path, the one word that comes up in this, basically you're here to truly learn how to help others and not just be a sympathetic ear. Mm-hmm. At the same time, a word that comes to mind with this is discernment. So discernment is very, very appropriate for you, because you actually attract the weaker of the population, if you will, or the people that you're around. It's kind of why you're here. And how that works in your life is kind of what you need to be use some discernment about, because there's certain people you're here to help, and there's certain people you got to let struggle so they can work through their life issues, right? So, and that is probably, if I were asking for anything in your shoes, it would be to get better discernment if that's an issue for you. Because I'm sure with all this emotion, I'm serious, you got emotion all the way through every number you've got here. Okay.
I'm serious. I feel it.
Yeah, okay. And you're supposed to, by the way. Again, not a bad thing, but it can cloud your judgment just a little bit if not used correctly, right? So part of what I do, and I'll go through some of these other ones, but really the 15, this is, okay, for expression, the 15-6, you're the natural counselor and healer. For your heart's desire, it's what you want. It's what you really desire to help others. And that's very strong in you. So that goes through the three things. Now, your birthday is a 20/2. Okay. And so here, really what you're being asked to do is work with people diplomatically. So you're going to use your art of persuasion, if you will. So I'm going to jump really quick over to astrology, as I do. And what I found very interesting after going through your numerology is, you are a leader, very much a leader. Your sun is in Leo. It's in the 12th house. So you tend to like to work behind the scenes, but don't think for a minute you're not a leader. Your rising sign is in Leo. You're okay. So you're okay, but here's the thing. Leadership comes in many forms, many forms. You're not the one hailing at the front of the group, hey, this is how it's going to be done with the sword up. Your leadership style is one of persuasion. You're here to persuade people into what you think should be the right direction, and which perfectly matches with the 15-6 of counseling people. And it's also meaning that you are here to use that discernment to know when to help others and to know when to step back. Okay. And we're all on a path of growing. So please understand, you don't get these and you know everything. You're here to learn lessons along the way to get you to the point you're trying to get to. Okay. So one of the things that I found was very interesting when looking at this, going back to numerology, I can usually do a pretty good scope on a person's, their first letter in their name and the first vowel. Okay. So when we look at the S in Suzanne, it's the 19th letter. And basically what that represents is you are an emotional leader. There you go. You have emotions once again. So you're here to use that ambition. You are very much a leader. You're very creative. Obviously, you're a writer and you're looking in those terms. It also has a sense of independence and being courageous with the talents that you have, okay? It can get a little with the emotion. It can, as I said before, there can be a little erratic course of action because of that. You don't always see things so clearly because of the emotion. Yeah. But again, that's part of your path. So please just know, if you know these things, you can maybe step back at times if possible, okay? When I look at you're a very sensitive, here we go again, very sensitive, very artistic. Good with words. You have strong emotion, as we know. And you can be a little scattered at times. That might be one issue that kind of comes up. Okay. So all of that is part of who you are and why you're here. And again, there are no mistakes. So just kind of look at that from this perspective. So when I look at this, and let's go back to numerology for just a minute here. You're in your 8th pinnacle, which is great for business. You know, you just got an 8 from Kraylin in your card, and you're coming up on your 9 year. Okay. The 8 is about expansion. It's about your business. It's about getting everything going. And the Leo is very, very helpful in that process for you. Now, I know you're feeling a little stuck right at the minute from what I understand, but just take a listen for a minute. You're also the pinnacle, just so you know, it's a degree of your, it's a degree of your life path. So we have certain segments in our life, and this is kind of what the theme is for a minute. So that's where I'm getting the 8 from, leading up to your 9 year on your birthday. Your cycle right now is a 2, also a part of this. 2, it's a slower time for you, but the 2 there again is all about working in partnership. Okay. So, and that is very huge for you. It's part of being the diplomat. It's part of who you are. And so when I look at this and I'm thinking about the cycle for a minute, when I look at your natal chart and I look at your transits coming in, your 11th house cusp ruler in Mercury is in the 2nd house. So a lot of your income or your potential income is coming from working with groups. And that's huge. And that's a part of who you are, just to give you a little perspective on this. So you're not here to be in a closet by yourself. You do need time to regenerate your battery with that sun in the 12th house, but you're also a person that's supposed to be out working in groups and diplomatically, guiding people to the direction you want to go. It could very well mean future business ideas and things can be done within a group, and that could be very profitable for you as well. Now, you're getting ready on your birthday to go into your 9th year. I'm in the 9th year, Susan in the 9th year. First of all, the 9th year is about endings. It's about closing the door. It's about cleaning up what hasn't been done. Projects that need to get done. Cleaning out things that are not working in your life. These can be people, these can be projects, these can be things that you need to move on from. And what you're doing, and it's a slow year. So you're in an 8 year going, and you're going to start feeling some of this, if you aren't already, some of the slowness of what's going on. Okay. And I don't want to take everyone's time here, but generally speaking, I would say to you, this is a time to really be thinking in terms of what you need to correct, to clean out and work toward. Okay. So I'm going to follow up with one other thing, and you have some transits sitting here. You have your, from now, really, March to April 19th, you have a transiting Neptune, which is opposing your natal Mars. And this can make you feel probably like you may feel now, some difficulties in achieving your objectives, or energy is low, that type of thing. That's going to be how it is for a bit. But I want you to cheer up just a little bit because later in this year, I do have you really, expansive, very expansive on what you can do. Your creativity is going to go up closer to summer. You're going to be able to take on some of these things right before you get to your 9-year. It is about transition, though. So you have another transit in which your Saturn is opposing your natal Venus. That's basically in April, where your personal relationships are going to be challenged. And it'll either mean a recommitment, or it could be a separation. But a lot of that has to do with you standing in your power, because what I believe you're being asked to do here is straighten out the path. And let's get Suzanne going down the road of where she needs to be. Much like all of us get in life, it's kind of like a bump in the road to wake you up, to make you understand. And you need to, and what I mean by standing in your power is this. There needs to be an understanding, say in your relationship, for example, of what you have to do. You're a Leo. You've got your sun in Leo. You're a leader. I mean, that is huge. And to have a rising sign, you have to be able to get out there and lead the way you need to lead. And that can't be necessarily, you need a spouse or significant people in your life that are going to support you in what you're trying to do, right? If that's not happening, maybe counseling might be an option. Maybe you recommit to it with the understanding that that spouse knows who you are now and some of these characteristics, and you're standing in your own power, making sure that that's understood. So I hope some of this is helpful.
Very.
Okay.
Do you have any comments, Suzanne?
There's so many things in there that are very suited for me. So they're very confirming. I really
you are a mama bear.
Yes.
Yeah. You jump in and you take care. You look at the underdogs. You want to take care of everybody, but you can't do that if your glass is empty, right?
Right.
And we only give with the overflow of what we have, and that's very hard for a 6, because a 6 wants to give. I mean, it's in their heart to give.
Yeah.
It's learning how to love yourself as much as you love everybody.
The discernment part was super helpful to me, because I think what happens is I vacillate between leadership and care and over giving, or I don't even know if that's exactly the term I would use, but I get out of balance, and then everything becomes cloudy, and then I feel like I don't actually know what my path is. And so I can have this like super intense focus energy, and I'm like going straight like an arrow, and then something will happen, and then I'm flying around in the sky, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I not? And I lose like my grounding for where I'm headed. And then when I find it, I'm all lit up again and I'm ready to go. But I can't always keep it consistent. And I think I super let other people's energies affect me, and my emotionality deeply impacts me. And so I don't always hold it with the sense of like, oh, I'm having an off day. This isn't the time to drop all my projects and reassess my life.
Right.
I cannot follow it always.
Yes.
But just honor it and have compassion for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this time right for you is not the easiest time with some of these transits, I would say. But I do see a very positive time. We've talked a little bit about it if you've watched us in the past. It's, journaling is probably great for you. Meditation would probably be great for you. And time alone at times, if possible, would be very good for you.
All
just
those things.
Yes. Okay. Reassess, make sure you feel you're on the right path. The biggest thing with since I always say that 15-6 is on high. It's in just about 3 of the 4 core numbers that you have. I can't stress enough how important it is to sometimes let the people that you love so much fall. Sometimes you have to let people fall to have them learn. You can't carry that for them.
This is exactly what I'm doing right in this exact moment is what I'm happening for me. So you've nailed it.
Okay. All right. Because I'm a parent too, and I've had to do that a couple times, and it's not easy. But they have to learn. See, remember, you're on your path, they're on theirs. Yes. And you have to honor that. Part of your job, and you have it within you, is to have that discernment to know when to back off and when to go for it. So I will leave you with that for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kraylin?
I pulled a 5 of Cups, and this is called disappointment. It's emotional disappointment, what I call a release card. And the cups in this are like empty, and the lotus blossoms are falling off because Emotionally, at this point in time, you may be feeling disappointed about some outcomes or some things that you haven't completed. Again, this is a stepping stone card. This is a time to release this disappointment and fill up these cups and be able to get back on your emotional good side, I should say. So, if you've got some disappointment going, you may even feel a little bit angry because Mars is in this, about the disappointment. I would say the disappointment is probably a lot more about what you personally are dealing with rather than disappointing in others. It's, I want to say that I feel that you are not living up to your self imposed expectations, and that's disappointing you. But what you have to realize is that you're not disappointing others. You're only seeing or feeling the disappointment because you think you should be doing more. And I don't know that that's really correct. So reevaluate, breathe when you get this emotion and allow it to dissipate and know that everybody around you is fine. It's just, I'm a double Leo like you are, and we could get really into a place where you can become codependent without really wanting to be, but it just kind of sort of happens. That's where your caregiving overtakes what your life purpose really is. You feel more pulled to other people to help them than you feel to do for yourself. So evaluate what you're feeling as far as emotional, what's causing you to feel disappointed, and maybe look at it from a different perspective so that you can release it and move forward.
Okay. Can I say something about that?
Please, please.
This past couple of weeks, in fact, probably since I would have filled out the questionnaire, all this stuff has been coming up for me around like when you don't see things in your life and then you peel back and then all of a sudden you see things that have been there the whole time that you couldn't see before. I've been in one of those periods, and I'm seeing all these dynamics and ways that I've shown up in my life that are profoundly disappointing to me in myself. Like I actually have so much grief and so much anger about it. So I thought it was really interesting when you said anger, because I'm so angry right now, because I think I have always had this self-concept of myself as the Leo who is confident and bright, and I am those things. And I've also sold myself out a ton, just a ton, and made myself small and made other people more comfortable and not said what was true for me and accommodated other people and changed myself for other people. And now I'm like, how did I do that? Like there's the awareness of seeing it, but then there's the pain of knowing that I've done that. And now as I step more and more into what is true for me, I found that some people are super happy for me and some aren't. You'll be all shocked. Know that.
That's what this 9 personal year is going to help you do. It's going to help you release what's no longer serving your greatest and highest good.
Yay.
And it's not surprising that all these things are starting to appear to you, and they're starting to show themselves, because you need to reevaluate that. You need to let those go. You're starting a whole new epicycle and a whole new cycle in 2025. So you've got to release. I suspect from 2016 to 2024, it's been a little bit rough.
It has.
It has.
Really has.
There's been a lot of reevaluation, lot of really looking at things and trying to figure things out. You're releasing it. It's all coming to a head in this year. So you can let it go. And it's your responsibility to let it go. Nobody else can do it for you. So the biggest thing, though, is to love yourself. Yeah. It's so important. That 6 has to love themselves before they can really be of service to other people.
I so appreciate the reminder because while I do actually have far more self-love than I used to, I mean, I really feel it a lot. I also have felt a lot of judgment over the last many years. And I just keep thinking, why is this so hard? And what am I missing? Like, shouldn't life feel a little bit better than this for someone I'm pretty conscious. Like I live very intentionally and I say no to things that generally don't suit me, but the deep emotional things, that's what's really at play for me. And I think I've really judged it. So that feels like a
That's who you
container
are.
to hold it.
That's
I'm
who you
biting at
are.
the, I'm chomping at the bit.
Go for it, Dorothy. Go, go, go.
Let me talk. No, sorry. I'm kidding. I can.
Fantastic.
It's all yours, Dorothy. Go for it.
Thank you. I'm going to add to a lot of what David said but different things, because as individuals, we all look at different things. I do just the astrology. Yes, you're a Leo rising. The sun's in the 12th house, but Saturn's also there. That is, I'll be straightforward. Hold on. Saturn, that's one of the more difficult places for Saturn to be, because this is what it feels like, and this is what we're working on throughout life.
Is it always there or just there right now?
You are born with Saturn in your 12th house.
Okay.
All right. And so this is where we are regularly working on our inner selves. Self-doubt, it comes up a lot. There is this struggle for self-doubt. Even though you are this Leo and you're feeling all these strong things, we're afraid of being insecure. We're afraid of not being able to express ourselves authentically. We are, because it really is a place of fear. Saturn is where we have our authority, but when it is in this sector of our chart, it's the inner journey. You have to process this regularly, and living a conscious life, like you just said, is absolutely the way to use it. Will you slip back into those things, those fears, insecurities? I'm not good enough. Am I being authentic? Will you slip back into that? Absolutely. We all slip back into, we have 12th house planets. We all slip back into that at times, but living a conscious life helps you to address it. So to know that it's part of your astrological makeup and pattern to regularly, one of the things, of course, is to regularly be aware of that. So it sounds like you're working on this and you're doing this. You said something a little while ago. It wasn't, I don't know what it was referring to at this point, but you were saying it's just like, you work on things, you approach things, you take time when you need it. So that's what I think you need to do, is to just continue that process. You're not a little kid anymore. You've experienced a lot of life, right? And so I think this is just where you have to understand that that's just a character, a piece of who you are. I think David said something about you might feel a little sadder once in a while, but this to me, I would call this melancholy, right? This is, in the old days, this is what they would call the way you feel while you're overly feeling and things like that. But having Saturn in the 12th house is melancholy. So we tend to, that's our escape. That's where we go. So how do you do this? Is by taking care of yourself, by doing the processes you need to do to check in with yourself. Your moon is in an air sign. It's in Gemini. I heard David say this too. So journaling, how you're feeling, regularly journaling is something that's incredibly important as an everyday practice for you, When you ask yourself those questions, like what am I missing or what I'm doing wrong, that's not the correct question. You have to find a more positive way to express that question. Because I know this because that's one of my questions. It's like, what am I missing? And then I hear my guide say, nope, wrong question, ask again. And, after all, and because, depends on the situation. So I feel it's important there. And if you stay in alignment, or just understand and see and know that piece of who you are, you already do, I can tell, and honor it. This creates the structure that you're looking for, because 12th house planets are planets that in evolutionary astrology, which is another branch, 12th house planets represent past life challenges or things that we've kind of hidden from our current life because it was just overdone in a past life. So you'll remember it a lot. So there are times when you're fearful of being the leader because prior lifetimes you've gotten shut down because of that, whatever that was like. So the stepping forward and then stepping back, stepping forward too much, but not feeding yourself, not taking care of yourself quite enough. Mm-hmm. That's what creates the self-doubt, you're insecure, and you work on that. And that is where the perseverance comes in. So patience, perseverance, and you can work through those deeper fears. Now, the transit of Jupiter in the sky made a 90-degree angle to that position, meaning it woke it up. Things, when they move through our astrology, we use the geometry, right? And when things activate or at similar numbers, they activate something. So Jupiter is expansive. Transit Jupiter activated that last year. Here's the months. It was July and November. So it would have stirred up fears. And the last one was February 17th. So just a couple weeks ago, stirring up fears, stirring up difficulties. If you numerologists need the exact dates, July 1st, 2023, November 11, 2023, February 17, 2024, because planets move forward, back, forward. So you got 3 connections. This is wonderful because it's like breaking out of a shell. You expanded beyond like a chicken and egg. It just got so big. Now it's starting to crack the egg. And now you're coming out again. Now you're coming out. So you're able to approach what you want. Jupiter transiting your 9th house at this point represents you learning more and being more authentic. And even if that's through being a teacher or expressing in that regard, this is an absolute benefit for you. This is a benefit for you because it's waking up something that you're aware of, but it rings the bell again. So you can remember, hey, we're going to continue to work on this piece in this lifetime, the piece of feeling strong, feeling like authentic, not creating self-doubt. So that's where all of this comes from. That's where that oscillation I heard you talking about comes from. Yeah. So you think you're getting too big for your britches. This is just real simplifying. Oh, I'm just doing too much. I'm getting too big for my britches. And then you kind of just back off because of fear of being too big. I know. And there's a lot of wonderful things going on. So that was a nice aspect. And we want to monopolize time, but there is some more major things going on when it comes to all of actually the end of April all the way to the end of May. The Jupiter transits in your astrology are absolutely fantastic for you to really see clearly where you're going. It's hitting, there's like 5 different things where you're going with your career, your home, your writing, your publishing, the excitement, the drive, blog posts. You're starting a new 12-year cycle when it comes on May 24th. You have Jupiter return. You have a lot. I can't go through all of it, but maybe I'll recap something later for you in writing. But it's wonderful, wonderful opportunities that you are ready for. You're absolutely ready for. Yeah, I know there's so much more.
And numerology would say that. I mean, that's the 9, that you've got to clear some stuff out. Yeah. And if you don't do it, the universe is going to help you. So just get it going, get it done so that door in 2025 can open wider.
Nice.
Really open up for you. It's funny, July 1st, 2023 was a 15-6.
Oh, good. And that was the first connection like that in 12 years. Yeah. So it isn't something that we have to, that we feel or that we feel every time we turn around. This is something that is like in human time. That's a fair chunk of time. Gotcha. So yeah.
What's the difference between the 12-year cycle and the 9-year cycle? Are they the different modalities?
What it is this, I'm talking about astrology and how long the planets take to do a certain cycle. And
Okay.
Jupiter takes approximately 12 years to say it just starts here, it takes 12 years to go all around the
Okay.
whole zodiac to come back. So every 12 years, all of us get a little refresher
see.
to Jupiter. And this is going to expand your career, your how people see you in the world. It's really, there's a lot of details, but generally speaking, it's you're really going to be getting a lot of attention right now. So I would absolutely recommend some moving, some action.
Well, so since I wrote that about feeling stuck, in fact, I was surprised to hear that because I forgot. I don't feel stuck right now. I have all this energy moving creatively, and I'm in this new endeavor with my writing, and it's specifically blogging. And you said that about a blog post, and so much fear has come up as I've decided what I want to say, what I want to write about, who I want to talk to. I keep having that same thought, like, who do I think I am that I can do this? And so
I know that's your Saturn in your 12th house.
Yeah.
You just tell it. It's like, I am an authority at what I know. I am authority at what I know. And you just keep telling it that and tell it just to sit down. It had its turn a few other lifetimes ago, and you can hear it. And yes, it's there. I hear you. You are in the room. But you know what? I know. I consciously know different. That 12th house is our unconscious beliefs about ourselves too. So
super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to it like it's an entity, because it is.
That would actually be very helpful to externalize it in a way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Carlin? Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay. I think this is just confirming what
Perfect
we just
card.
talked about.
Ooh.
This is a trump card. It's like an umbrella that continues for quite a while. And the wheel of, I want to say, first of all, there are only 3 success cards in my deck. This is the big one. So this is supporting the transits and stuff that Dorothy was just talking about. This is saying that what you're going through, what you're dealing with now, will be successful in a big way. Not a little way, but in a big way. So as you progress through the next, year or so, when you're, doing your release work, focus on the fact that this is the time to prepare, because success is on its way. With your blog, with the book, with whatever it is you're doing, focus on the fact that you've got the energy behind you to be successful.
That's
And
fun.
I did pull this card too before Dorothy started talking. So
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
what I really love about what we do. It
Yeah.
just kind of all leads into each other. So
That's right. Yeah, that's wonderful. Go
I just think
for it,
that's so fun to
Suzanne.
think about going forward, thinking, I have the energy of success with me. That's such a
Exactly.
There you
different frame
go.
of mind than what I usually have.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you
And
do.
when Saturn starts knocking you down, you're just going to tell him back off.
That's
Yep.
right.
Sit
It's
down. I got
fine.
this.
I absolutely love it.
Mhm.
Lorelai.
Well, Suzanne, I got a lot of what everyone else said. The touch I feel within my body, sometimes what the person is feeling, and I felt the melancholy. I also felt the bit about that all this change is coming for you. The one thing I did here was that if you tend to resist change, it'll actually end up creating chaos for you. Okay. So if you actually embrace it and lean into it and allow and see where it's going to take you with a bit of curiosity, that may be of assistance. Okay. I too felt that with regards to any relationships or anything else, the biggest thing was for you to do self-care. Now, there were a few energetic things that I picked up. One, the bit about the blog when you were questioning, or if you do question it again, that I felt very strong that you need to strongly about you moving forward with. Okay. I felt like even if when you were thinking, is it even going to help anyone? Well, yes, it is. Even if it helps one person, there is a butterfly effect that happens. Okay. And what you said with your unique being and the way you are and the way you live, like, I just felt a very unique persona. Okay. Does that make sense to you? And that'll shine through the blog. Okay. Now you said something interesting. You said, what is true for me? Like, is that the name of your blog?
No.
Do you know? Oh, okay. Because I was thinking that actually might be something you want to start putting in that blog. Okay. The other things that I got, and you might, now I don't, two things happened when I was preparing for you. Okay. I get my information ahead of time a lot of times. So I was sitting down last night and an Oriole bird, something showed up about an Oriole bird. So I looked it up. I just did a quick Google, symbolism on Oriole. And that's about a big breakthrough rate to happen. Okay. So that was the one thing. The other thing was that, what was I just going to say? Oh, I kept hearing, write a love letter to yourself. Honestly, all the things you really do like about yourself, all those unique features you have, because I got to tell you, how I personally feel is all of us with these unique characteristics, it's our time coming. It's like those unique things that once we tried hiding away are what's going to help the world move forward. All right.
Yeah.
There were a few other things that I thought that might help. Maybe having some kind of connection to your own spirituality, and not saying that you don't, but maybe starting to focus in before you get busy doing everything else for everyone else. Maybe pull a card, or maybe do something that, would just center you right away. I also felt that either doing some feng shui or redecorating the house or painting or something would move the energy in the house, and it may open up a few things. Okay. We're getting to the time when the windows, well, maybe here we're getting a snowstorm, so my windows are shut. But just shifting the energy in the home or in your workspace will be quite important. The other things I thought might be helpful were an accountability partner, or creating something yourself for people to be accountable. Like everything that sorry, I get a little dry sometimes when I read. You might be able to create something that would help other people, but anything that you're creating at this point, I feel should come from a place of love.
Yeah.
If you aren't loving it, you may as well let it go. Okay.
Yes.
Because it's probably not going to feed your soul enough, and it'll just fizzle out. Okay. So do what you love, and that'll actually move you forward. The other thing that I thought might be helpful is possibly acupuncture, acupressure, like moving the energy within. Everything I was getting was about clearing some energy. Okay. And when you were saying you don't want to take anything off your plate, like of all the things you have to do, that's great. But take other people's stuff off your plate. That should go. Okay. Because it's you are here to spread the word about something, and I don't know what that means, but does this make sense to you?
Totally. Yes. I'm
Okay,
very
good.
clear about this part.
Yeah, okay, because I don't quite get the actual what it's going to be. The other thing that might be helpful is that there is a technique called the sweeping technique that some Amy does. It's like a 6-minute limiting belief technique that she talks you through, and it takes you through not only your own limiting beliefs, but the ones from your ancestral lineage and everything else. I'm going to send it in the link when I do a little write up, and then maybe try it once. Okay. And see if that's helpful. I just want to take a look. Giving back with something
Share
you
that
love.
too. I want to know.
Yeah. It's very nice. I said what happened, and I only share the stuff that I've done myself. What happened to me the first time is it's a 6-minute little audio she takes you through. I was still doing it after 25 minutes because more and more limiting beliefs were coming up.
Wow.
Wow.
but it did clear things nicely for me.
Oh, that'd be
The other
great.
thing was that there was a level of giving back that I felt would be helpful for you. Again, with what you love. Now, the interesting thing that showed up is, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I kind of felt some pull back and forth with this. Animals. Um, I don't know if you're an animal person or not.
Okay.
But I was seeing that what might be helpful for you, and if your partner is interested or anyone else, that might be something you could do together, is to get involved with either, SPCA or something where you can do, some animal work, caring with animals, because they'll gravitate to you, or equine. Like if there's
Do
any
both.
kind of
We
horse
do
work.
both of those things. That's
Yeah,
so
okay, good.
my
Yeah,
daughter and I volunteer at a horse barn and at the Humane
perfect.
Society. Yeah.
Perfect, because
Nice.
keep doing that, okay? Because
Okay.
there's something I kept seeing the horse coming up to me, right? And it's almost like the horse is helping take some of the energy and shift it too. So if that makes sense. And that also works very nicely with leadership, right? Like horses will show us all sorts of things about leadership. So good, you're on the right track with that. Yeah, can you tell me what the pull is about it though? Like it felt kind of a pull. Is it just that you don't have enough time?
You're very astute, because I really love the idea of doing it. And my daughter really loves animals. Like that's what she wants to go into in her
Yeah.
life. And I've been very reluctant to actually show up for those sessions. And I have like this little bit of an issue came up with someone at one of the facilities that rubbed me the wrong way. And I've just felt kind of icky about it ever since. And I can't figure out like if I just need to have better boundaries or if it's not the right environment for me. Like she's just doing her. She's just being herself. Like she did nothing wrong. But something about it just got under my skin. And
So look at that or write
Yeah.
about it, because there's some wisdom in that. Okay,
Yeah.
there's some dark wisdom that's within the melancholy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that might weave very nicely into something. There also might be someone, if it's not you, it may be your daughter, that's also in tune with animal communication on some level. Okay, so that might be something to explore a little bit more.
Okay.
Also, all right. I'm just seeing if I have anything else. Risk forward. I have a book that says risk forward, and I thought, oh, that's you. Risk forward.
For it or forward?
Risk forward.
Okay.
Allow yourself to risk forward with
Love
these
that.
ideas, with the things you love. You don't love them because they're not valid. You love them because spirit has put them in your heart.
Yes.
Okay. So if you can take that and move forward with that, I think you'll do fine. I also was getting like around April, May, you've got like the other thing you might be feeling, and I don't know astrologically if this would make sense. You are like, the other thing I kept seeing is a thoroughbred getting ready to go. Like you're at the gate, but the energy is not quite there and it's just ready to open. Okay. So I think I think it's just going to shift. You
Yeah.
are just going to all of a sudden have a shift with some of this. And what you feared will be gone. It'll just fall away. Okay. And all of a sudden it'll start making sense. I think you might be really surprised in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, how much your mind has changed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I'm just taking a look quickly to see. Oh, the other thing is consider what you said you would never commit to, because you might want to look at committing to it. Okay.
I don't even know what that would be. I'll have to see if that comes to me.
Think about it.
I'm not like commitment averse or anything that I know of.
No. And it didn't feel like that with you, but it would be something that you were like, nah, this was never. Okay. It was like me when I said, no, I will never be reading. That kind of thing, right? Like I thought there was no way when I was told how many years ago, I just thought, no, that's not true. And then all of a sudden I completely opened up to it. And then I just felt right. Like it felt like part of me. That's what it feels like you're coming into. Feels like you're going to be coming into yourself and you'll be able to see. And how you said you were kind of judging all the things in the past. All of a sudden, they're all going to make sense, how they're like a full picture. Okay.
Yes, that April, May timeframe with
Okay.
Jupiter expansive. making things bigger, so you're able to pick and choose. And Uranus is on the midheaven as well in that time frame. That's a long transit, and that Uranus brings in those moments, those sudden moments of aha, or enlightenment, or you're
Yeah.
in a major shift this year as well. This long transit starts in May and it doesn't end until well into 2025. So
Wow.
that is like what Lorelai is just saying. It's like, just be open for either something you've like refused, or just you have to just be open, and you have to be flexible and
Yeah.
just ready for the changes, disruptions, changes, but they're all for the
Yeah.
better. They're all
Okay.
for a good reason. So knowing that much about numerology, and hearing you're in a 9-year with the transit of Uranus at the midheaven, which is a very public place, your career, how people see you. It even reverberates down into what's going on at home. There are changes. So there are changes. And the first connection is May, when you have something else that is coming at you at all different directions, which is about expansion. So April,
Yeah.
May is just going to be kick ass. Let me tell you.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
I know that's good.
Worries.
I love it.
Oopsies.
Oh.
I have a potty mouth. I do really good here, I tell you.
Oh, Suzanne,
I
if
think
I
the
might.
one-
Oh,
I-
I'm sorry.
The one thing I'd like to say is, I think it's important for you to get out and have a little more fun.
Yes, I think so
I
too.
I think you
Mhm.
hold yourself back on fun because you want to be very responsible and you want to take care of everybody. So you forget that piece that makes you happy. And when
Yeah.
you start doing that, then things come to you.
Yes.
Okay. So that's
Mhm.
real important. I think you've challenged yourself with that playfulness most of
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah,
That's
it's good to
very
be
true.
content. It's good to be content. I have a serious Saturn too, and I feel content. But when people ask me, it's like, "Are you really happy? Are you really joyful?" And I'm like, "Content is good. Content is good. I'm content with content."
That's
But that
good.
is a serious Saturn, like you have. I kind of have it. It's just, you can play and be joyful like we are right here, of course, but it's not the first thing you go to. It just isn't.
I
It's
have a very playful nature, and
good.
I also have a lot of sad to my nature, but
Yeah.
I'm like, as he said, I have it all, the emotions, but
Yes.
I have limited some of my playful expression
Mhm.
to fit better, just
Yeah.
to belong. And
Exactly.
it's part of
Ditto.
what I'm disappointed and angry about, because
Yeah.
it's so
You
natural for me.
you might be the person though that helps other people belong.
Mm.
Okay? Like you're trying to fit to belong,
Yeah.
but maybe your group needs someone to create something so they can belong. And who better to do that than someone who has both the joy and the melancholy and back and forth? Like you'll know what they need. So I don't see anything that you're going through as something that cannot be transmuted,
Yeah.
you know, to work for something else.
Yeah.
And embrace too, right?
Right. I love how you're taking all these things that I experience and making them so like strong and full of possibility. Like it's just such a great reframe for me.
Mhm.
Well,
Hey.
it's funny. I get on when everybody else was talking. When they were talking about the change. I like change, so for me, that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I don't always like what it brings after, but I do like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel some excitement for you too.
Thank you.
Nice.
Suzanne, I
Kraylin?
just. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
To you after Kraylin.
Okay.
The last card that I have for today is a stepping stone. This is wands. This is spiritual energy, and it's dominion. Like basically allowing yourself to hear what spirit has to say to you.
Mm.
When you get those aha moments, or you get that information coming in, allow, don't just throw it away. Take a minute, breathe, and think, where's that coming from? Because I know a lot of times we'll get into our self head loops, but spiritual energy feels different.
Yeah.
And when you allow it, big things can happen. And for you, it's important that you embrace your higher self and your connection with spirit when you're going through all this stuff that's coming up, because I think that's going to lead you down the path that's going to help you with this card.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing about it, with Jupiter in your ninth house, that's also a spiritual placement for Jupiter. I have it in my ninth house, and education, higher self. So now would be a very good time to be open to what universe has
Yeah.
to say.
Perfect.
Yeah, look for those spiritual teachers.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
David.
Yeah, funny enough, that's a great segue. Both the card and I was just going to say, Suzanne, you're on a spiritual level. You're not alone. You have a great group of spirits around you, and they are close. So, in your meeting, in your journaling, and when you're just sitting, I would say for you to ask for help and guidance.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're doing this all on your own. That's why they're there, and you have this outpouring of help for people, but there's nothing wrong with asking for it as well. The other thing during that time, ask for some signs for guidance and to give you a direction if you feel that's not there. So, I always say, pull it all out and make sure it all, you might as well, they're there to help. But you have to acknowledge them, and they will then more so come forward for you, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So,
Yes.
okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Sure.
Is Joe still here? Joe, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
So you got any comments?
Oh gosh, no pressure, Joe.
Knew this was coming, Suzanne.
Okay.
I don't. I'm just thrilled for Suzanne. I'm just like, I loved when Dorothy told her to kick ass, because that is Suzanne.
Yes,
She will
nice.
kick ass.
Nice.
I'm just really thankful to all of you for just really, I feel like you were just supporting her on her journey, and that she needed to hear this stuff. And I'm excited for you, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Does anybody have any? Suzanne, would you like to say anything?
I want to say thank you. I've just had this sense for all my life, and in increasing volume, if you will, or intensity, that there's something I'm supposed to be doing. There is a message that is coming through me from something higher, and I am meant to put it out into the world because the world is asking for it, and I am the conduit. And I feel like I've just gotten myself, in some ways, I'm so proud of like getting from here to here. Then I feel like where I really need to go is like here, and I can't, like, I feel like I'm missing it. I feel like I've been missing it. And in truth, I think every step has brought me closer. And I feel like I am ready. Like probably a month ago, that was the phrase that kept coming to me from my guides. Like, you are ready. And I would feel ready. And then the next day I just would feel totally flat, and I wouldn't feel like I had any idea what I was doing or what I was supposed to be doing. And so the inconsistency of my own energy, and I don't want to use the word stability, but like feeling of being grounded and on the right path exhausts me. I feel like I'm on a little bit of a roller coaster with it. And so these all of this gives me a sense of like, just like nourishment to keep myself focused, to like support myself on this, rather than it needing to be perfect. I'm not talking about like even arriving at it or needing it to be perfect, but following it, just trusting it, because it's really easy for me to talk myself out of like, oh, that's very grandiose of you, that, and often when I'm sitting and I have had an inspiration and then I sit down to work on it and the inspiration's not there, I literally close my eyes and I say to the universe, what is it that I'm supposed to say? Because I can't seem to generate this, but I know that you can work through me. So can we do that? And just like really trusting that that's possible for me, that I have that kind of support at hand, and that I'm myself like worthy of it. I think that really might be what it comes down to. It's almost like I have to get out of my own way. Yeah. So this just feels very affirming and supportive, and it's the energy of like, no, you really were put here to do this. So just, it's time to
Yeah.
get on with it. It's okay. Go ahead. You're allowed to. That's
Yeah.
what this feels like for me.
Yeah. Like everybody's saying, there's a lot change coming in.
Yeah.
Ton
The
of
cycles
change.
are ending. All the planets are doing things. So
Mhm.
it's happening. It's been an
Yeah.
interesting year. 8 years since 2016. You've worked hard to get to reevaluate some things in your life, and now it's time to move on for you.
Yeah.
It's all
I
about
have a
you
sense
now.
that there's a lot of like stuck stuff in me, like stuck energy, other people's expectation, and that I'm in the process of shedding it, and it doesn't feel good. And so I think I perceive that and think something's going wrong, but in fact, it's really going quite right. And it's just the way I think about it and look at it that it really needs shifting.
As
The
David
limiting
would say,
beliefs, the limiting belief technique will
Yeah.
help with that. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yep.
yeah.
I'm looking
And
forward to
David
it
will
too.
always tell us that nothing is ever wrong. It's all
Right.
the way. It's all the way it's supposed to be. Right.
You're right where you're supposed to be. Yes.
Right.
Right where you're
I love
supposed to
that.
be. Most
Yes.
definitely. All right, my friends. Well, thank you all for coming. If anybody's interested, is listening to this and is interested in getting a reading from any of our readers, all the information will be in the description below the YouTube video. Yeah, so our next meeting is March 16th. I do not have her information yet, but I'll make sure that I get it to everybody as soon as I get it. And all right, so let's all send out some light and love for those who feel like they're in the dark, and let's all stay very grounded and do something really kind for somebody, big or small. So I'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Suzanne.
Bye.
Pleasure meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Same to you. Bye.